Hey everybody, this is another one of my videos talking about things that I do to help me with my French. I did a longer video that talked about pretty much everything that I do to help me with my French, and I said that I would talk about some of those things individually in other videos. So this is one of those individual videos. In this video, I'm going to talk about Duolingo. I'm not going to do like a full tutorial on how to set this up and everything. I'm assuming that you can figure out how to make yourself an account and that kind of stuff. I'm just going to show you mainly the type of exercises that it gives so you can see what type of practice it has in it and how useful it can be. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and get started. When you've already set up your account and everything and made your profile, it opens up to this screen. And this screen shows all your lessons basically. So it starts, at the beginning here with the basics, and then it just keeps going down um, as you progress basically. So you can see there's a lot of lessons in here. I'm no way near finished with it. Um, I went ahead and started at the beginning because I wanted to just get a good refresher in everything. So I'm now only in this second section, I guess, right here. And if you look here, you can see that you can test out of skills. So that was available before I finished these other two sections. Um, I could press this and take an exercise. If I can illustrate that I had the skills of these topics above, then I can just skip all of those. But I haven't actually tried that. I just want to go through everything and get refreshed with everything. So these ones that you see here that are gold, that means I did all the exercises in those. But if you look down here, you see there's one that's gold and then a bunch that are gold below it. But there's this one clothing with that doesn't look like I finished it. The reason that is because after you finish these, it will go back and make you practice them. So if you see down here at the bottom of the screen, it says practice week skills. If I were to click on that, it's going to review that closing section or any other sections that have reopened. So basically, it'll take the end mark away from any of these at any time. On a daily basis, it does it basically to make you practice week skills. So you can either just click on that actual lesson, which I'll do just to show you how that is, and then it takes you to the weakest words, and you can click strengthen, or you can click on this practice week skills, and it'll
Le garçon.
figure out which ones that you need to work on, and then um, do those for you. I'm going to X out of this. So you can X out of any exercise if you run out of time, or you decide you do not want to do it. You can go out of it. It'll ask you if you're sure, and then you click yes or no. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works by doing one of them. Now, some of the exercises involve sound, and I do have the sound on my iPad because usually if I'm using my iPad to do this, I'm doing it from home anyway. However, when I use this on my phone, I turn the sound exercises off. And by sound, I mean ones where you have to speak. I still can hear things that are said, but I don't do the exercises where you have to speak because a lot of times when I'm doing it on my phone, I'm at work on my break. So I don't want to be sitting on my break, talking in French and people wondering what's going on or just disturbing other people. So I turn those exercises off. You can do that in the settings. To get to the settings, you can click on your profile and then click on settings. So if you scroll down here, you see you can turn on or off sound effects because it plays a sound if you get a question wrong or a question right. So I just leave those on because usually if I'm at work, I'm using my headphones anyway. Speaking exercises, so those are the ones where you have to speak into it. You can turn those off. And then listening exercises are the ones where you have to listen to something and then you usually translate it, is that exercise. You can also set this to give you reminders every day. So I have it set to remind me at 11 in the morning every day. You can connect to Facebook and Google Plus. You can actually, like, if you have friends on there, you can, I'm going to close out of there, both of these now. You can kind of compare yourself with them. You can see if somebody passes you up and that kind of thing. I don't do all that. I just do this for myself. So that I really just wanted to show you how to turn off and on the sound exercises if you needed to do that for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of these new exercises that I have. So it's a new one. If I get stuff wrong, don't laugh. But I'm just going to go through it so you can see how this kind of goes. So I'm going to click on the one that I've started already, the present two, the little girl running. And so I've already done one lesson. You can go back and redo these lessons if you want to. You see the redo button. There's the test out at the top of the screen. But you can't get to the later lessons until you go through them. So I'm going to go ahead and do lesson 2 of 8. You can see that these lessons are about verbs, present tense verbs. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And looking at this, I know most of these, I don't know what Lance means. I guess I'll find out.
J'entre.
So this is exercises where you have to translate what is here. You see the little dots under the words. You can click
Entre.
those to see what it means. So
Entre.
it'll have that the first few times that you use it. So make use of it. You see here you have the sound button, so you can play the
J'entre.
sound again if you want to. And when you're ready, you just tap into the box that says type in English. It'll bring up your keyboard, which this is something you should pay attention to. If I get an exercise here that is the reverse, where I have to type the French word instead of the English, my keyboard is going to switch to French. And that's because I have the French keyboard enabled. I show how to switch or add that keyboard in another video, so you can watch that video as well. I never paid attention to that fact until I switched my keyboard, so I'm not exactly sure if it does that if you don't have that enabled. I'm thinking it doesn't, but maybe I'm wrong because this software is pretty good. It has a lot of good features and works really well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they worked something like that into it. So I'm going to go ahead and type I enter, and you can see once you start typing, the checkbox comes up. You can click it whenever you're done. I want to get it right, so I'm going to wait till I'm actually done. Click check, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Then you have to click continue to move on. So let's keep going.
Il gagne.
So this is the same kind of exercise, and I believe this means he wins, right? Is that what gagne means?
Gagne.
Yes. It's been a while since I used it, but I thought that was what it was. Check, continue. So this is another exercise that they have in here. This is where you basically do matching. So you just tap the French word with the English word. So, and it'll say it usually says the French word while you do this, but sometimes I don't know if I'm doing it too fast or if you have to click the French word first or second. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't say it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
Oiseau. Entre. Mange. Froid. Aider.
So once you're done, it'll let you know and you keep going.
Elle dit.
So in this one, you use the words below. You just click on them to move them. You can click on them again to make them go back. Um, and you translate the sentence. Sometimes the sentence will be in English and you have to translate it into French. Sometimes it'll be French and you have to translate it into English, like this one. There's a cheat in this game. I'm not sure they thought this out really well, but basically, you always know what the first word is because it's capitalized. So, she is obviously the first one in this. This means she says. So, I'm going to click says and check. But yeah, in those exercises, the first word is always capitalized. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that because it might make you not think about it, but I'm sorry, it's a bad feature that they put in here.
Il finit.
So this one is another one typing in the English. He is finished. A lot of these verbs you can say he is finished or he is eating or he eats, and it'll give you credit for either one. So Oh, it didn't give me credit for that. It says he's finished.
fini,
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if I agree with that one, but okay. So, in this exercise, it gives you a word or a phrase, and then you have to pick the word below that goes with it.
fini.
So, we know it's fini for this one.
Il donne une pomme.
And in this one, you are doing the same that we did before. You're just translating this one. Maybe this isn't the best exercise to pick because it's not giving me the exercises I want to show you really, but he is giving an apple.
Le garçon lance des fruits.
Okay, so I said I don't know what launch means.
Lance.
So okay, so it means to throw. So the boy throws fruit. Now, this application is pretty good about its translations and about its exercises and everything, but every once in a while I run into a little issue. Um, like in Finnish, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I don't know. I don't know enough French to know if that's has to be is finishing or can be he finished is finished or whatever. I guess that's past tense if he's finished. But okay, yeah, I guess that's past tense if he's finishing. Okay, but sometimes every once in a while, and it's only happened to me a couple of times, I definitely do not agree with the translation. For instance, in the food section, I believe the sentence was something like "Le garçon mange un bonbon," which literally translates to "the boy eats a candy." But we don't say that here. We don't say a candy. We say the boy eats candy. So that's what I put, and it marked me wrong. I totally do not agree with that because I understand, if they didn't want us to say A, they probably put duh or do or whatever. But we don't say that anyone eats a candy here. We always say they're eating candy, he eats candy, he's eating candy. We don't say a candy. We never use it singularly. So I really didn't agree with the grading of that one, but that is very, very rare. And I mean, technically, it's not wrong. That is the literal translation of it. It's just not practical and doesn't go with English speaking. So let's move forward. Another Paris one. So
Bœuf,
buff,
peu,
peu,
sac,
sex,
donne,
don,
couleur.
couleur.
Ça intéresse les enfants.
And where's the capital letter? It interests the children. Wins,
Gagne.
yay. You've seen these exercises already, so I'm just gonna kind of
Achète.
go through
Nous.
them quickly.
Seul. Intéresse. Il gagne.
Okay, so this is one where they speak in French and you type in English. Actually, you type this one in French. Um, so this is one of those listening exercises. Basically, it doesn't show you what it's saying. You have to listen. So you can play
Il
it again,
gagne.
or you can play it
Il
slowly.
gagne.
And as you can see, like I said, my keyboard has switched to the French keyboard. You can see that it's giving me French suggestions at top, and it's giving me the terminé for the done button, return button, basically the enter button. So they said il gagne, and I was trying to type with my computer keyboard. um, so that's that.
J'entre.
And this is another such exercise. Okay, this is another exercise we haven't seen yet. Basically, it gives you a sentence and asks you to check all that are correct translations. So the children are interested in the animal. These are usually pretty easily chosen because like they'll have like crazy words that have nothing to do with the sentence. Like this first one starts with the animal and the second one starts with the serpent, so you know that's not it. Oh, process of elimination is the third one. But to get the most of it, you should probably read them because sometimes it is two. Sometimes it's not just one. Sometimes there are two that work.
Il donne une pomme.
Here's one of the speaking exercises. So, with this, you have to hold down this microphone and then speak into the microphone saying what it just said to you. So, I'm going to try that now. Il donne une pomme. Then it grades you, and you either get it right or wrong. And you also have a not now button. Say you forgot to turn off your speaking exercise, you can click it so it skips it. Okay, so this one is, I think this is the opposite of what we've been doing so far. So it gives me an English sentence and then I have to translate it into French. So she
Elle
is
finit
finishing
sa
her
robe.
dress. Same thing.
Il
He
dit
says no.
non. Il lance le chapeau.
Speaking again. Il lance le chapeau. I'm pretty good at that. And you can see that that's the last question because the top bar, which is your progress bar, is now full. I don't know if you've been watching that fill up, but it's full now, so I'm going to be at the end of the exercise. Gives me a great sound saying that I finished. If you do this every day, it'll show you what kind of streak you're on. I've never been able to get more than like a 7 day streak because I seem to lax on Saturdays. Just Saturdays. That's it. I don't know. I get so busy with something that I miss Saturdays. You can see that was the last day that I missed, and it messes up my streak. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, if you were at the end of the lessons, it would give you a different thing. It would give you some lingos, basically, if you were at the end of all those lessons. And let me show you about those a little bit. If you click on shop, you can see at the top left I have 29 lingos. These you can use to buy things in the game. So you can buy clothes for the teacher. You can buy something called Streak Freeze to freeze your streak. So I probably should get that so that I can freeze my streak on a Saturday. But I'm trying not to miss Saturdays anymore. You can buy bonus exercises. So I've actually bought one. I bought idioms and proverbs where you learn some French idioms. There's another one that'll be available if I have 30 lingos, and that's flirting, how to flirt in French. So I'm gonna close this and show you where these went, where they go. So right here, you see this gray section here, that's where the bonus skills go. So I have two open slots for that, and I filled one already with idioms that I bought once I hit 30 lingos back when. So this is pretty much the game or app or whatever, Duolingo. I definitely recommend getting this app, doing it every day just to get some practice. It's really good practice. It has some interesting exercises. You have a little bit of control over what you can do as far as listening and talking. But especially if you're not able to speak to someone every day, it's really good practice. I highly recommend it. Just watch out for things like he is eating a candy. So, yep, that's one of the things that I do to help me with my French. I do Duolingo just about every day except Saturdays when I slack off.